I think I can personally speak on behalf of the entire NBA fanbase that the day that Jamal Murray went down with a torn ACL against the Golden State Warriors was again not just a devastating day for Denver Nuggets fans, more so the fact of the entire NBA fanbase in general, which again is obviously the case for every NBA player, not depending on their role for a team or whatever team they are on. And I think it's also very obvious to say that relatively nothing positive comes out of any injury whatsoever, especially one to this degree. But I will say, if any of you guys have been watching your fair share of Denver Nuggets basketball in the past couple of weeks, you have been able to catch a glimpse of a potential superstar in the making on this Denver Nuggets team. And I think with this teaser, most of the people watching already know what I'm talking about, so I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's get into this video. But before we do, all of you regulars know the drill by now. For anyone new to the channel, I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds to go down below and subscribe. Brand new content around here on a daily basis, you guys, covering pretty much any NBA topic you can possibly think of. So once again, for any of you guys that are new and enjoy the NBA as much as I do, believe me, you will not regret hitting this button. So to any of you guys that do this for me, thank you so much, but without further ado, let's get into this video. Now, if you're still watching this video and you somehow haven't caught on to the player that I am hinting at on this Denver Nuggets team, the only reasonable explanation to this scenario would be that you're not an NBA fan and you somehow stumbled upon this video. But if you do know who I'm talking about, if you don't, it really doesn't matter. I'm just going to come out with it and say it right now. Yes, it is Michael Porter Jr. of the Denver Nuggets. And if you somehow haven't heard of this man yet, what he has been doing so far this season, or the fact of what he has been doing over the course of the last couple of weeks, believe me, you are about to real quick, especially with the amount of potential and uprise he is showing out there for this Denver Nuggets team. And again, you guys, I hate to truly relate any positive outcomes to an injury, as it just feels weird for me, and I hate talking about injuries in general. But you guys, what we have been seeing from Michael Porter Jr. since the sidelining of Jamal Murray for the rest of the season is truly something that cannot go unnoticed, and if you haven't seen anything about it before this video, I'm honestly pretty surprised. As we are just going to use this as a quick example, before Jamal Murray's injury, Michael Porter Jr. was putting up averages this year of 17 points and about 8 rebounds per game. However, since Jamal Murray went down with this injury, Michael Porter Jr.'s average in points per game has went from 17 to just under 26 points per game. You guys, I am not trying to be over dramatic with making this video, but that jump in strictly points per game is absurd, especially when you are considering the fact that this man is still only 22 years old. And I already can see it now. Some people are probably thinking with this insane jump in points per game, he is probably taking a lot more shots, hence the reason of why he is putting up these numbers. And yes, it is obvious that he is putting up more shots per game with a more increased role on this team. However, you guys, he is still putting up these numbers pretty much as efficiently as he possibly could, as over the course of his last 7 games with the Denver Nuggets, he has put up point totals of 39 points, 26 points, 17 points, 21 points, 21 points, and to top it off, 25 points and 24 points. And in these last 7 games of putting up very impressive increased averages of points per game, he only shot under 50% from the field overall in one, yes, only one of these games, which was still a very impressive performance, as he put up a stat line in this game of 26 points and 5 rebounds with 44% shooting from the field overall. And in fact, in another one of these 7 games that we just mentioned, in his 39-point performance against the Houston Rockets, he decided to mess around and put up his most points in a single NBA game, and again 39 points that night, while also shooting an absurd 8 for 12 from 3 throughout the entire game. And in case any of you were wondering about Michael Porter Jr.'s shooting splits in general throughout the course of this span since Jamal Murray's injury, he has been putting up this insane increase in production while shooting 59% from the field overall and 54.5% from 3, while also, not to mention, having a plus 72 plus minus. Just from the examples I've given you so far in statistics, I think I can confidently say that you guys are impressed with Michael Porter Jr.'s improvements so far this season, even if you haven't watched a single game. This last week has been crazy for Michael Porter Jr. Don't get me wrong, he is getting all of the recognition that he deserves and then some, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, if this is the first you are noticing of Michael Porter Jr.'s improvements so far this season, he has been doing it relatively the entire year, and it is at this point where I do believe that Michael Porter Jr. was not getting the recognition that he deserved in terms of the improvement he has been making throughout the course of his entire sophomore season. As if you are not currently aware of the massive improvements he's been making so far this season, let's dive into this aspect a little bit. As if you were unaware beforehand, Michael Porter Jr. put up averages through 55 games of his rookie season of 9 points, 5 rebounds, and around an assist per game. However, so far again through his sophomore season in the NBA, you can make the argument that he is being twice as productive out on the court as he was in his rookie year. As so far this season, including the entire year through 51 games played, Michael Porter Jr. has been putting up averages of 18.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, and around an assist per game once again. Again, when you compare the statistics he was putting up his freshman year compared to his second year in the NBA, this is a monumental change that I'm sure all Denver Nuggets fans are absolutely loving to see. As I am not a Denver Nuggets fan, but I can personally sympathize and feel for what they are going through, as they lost their second best player right before the 2021 playoffs when they were very confident about what this team could do going into the postseason, especially after making the trade for Aaron Gordon, as they seemingly decided to go all in terms of trying to fight for a championship this season. But if you would honestly just sit back and look at the situation for the Denver Nuggets and think of a best case scenario to come from what has happened to this team over the course of the last couple of weeks, I would truly and confidently say that this is the best thing they could have possibly asked for. As immediately when the tables turned in terms of what they were going to look like going into the postseason, it was very obvious to not just Denver Nuggets fans, but the entire NBA fan base in general that the Denver Nuggets needed the next guy up, which was Michael Porter Jr., to step up to the plate and take care of what wasn't going to be thrown at him. And so far, it has been smooth sailing to say the very least for the Denver Nuggets, as they are 6-1 since this has happened and look like they are adjusting at the perfect rate and the perfect timing right before going into the 2021 playoffs. However, the biggest question that is going to need to be answered going into the 2021 playoffs is not only going to depend on Michael Porter Jr.'s playoff experience, more so the entire Denver Nuggets team in general. I truly do feel like a lot of people are sleeping on this team before we head into the 2021 playoffs, and I'm really hoping Michael Porter Jr. and this entire Denver Nuggets team can prove me wrong in terms of what they're going to be able to do. But once again, this is just something that will be answered in due time. But you guys, on that note, I'm thinking that's going to mark the end of the video for today. All in all though, I am really curious to hear what you guys have to think about this Michael Porter Jr. situation and in terms of the Denver Nuggets and how far they will make it in the 2021 playoffs in your eyes. So please make sure to leave your feedback in the comments down below, you guys. Believe me, I read every single comment you guys leave. But on that note, once again, you guys, don't forget to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy and subscribe down below. I can't say it enough, you guys. Brand new NBA content on a daily basis. You do not want to miss what we have on this channel coming forward. I can promise you this. But once again, you guys, I just want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you for watching. I appreciate you guys more than anything in the world. You all know this. And on that note, I will see you guys in the next video.